Oh, fun.
Someone was doing it again.
Yeah, we'll practice today.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Good morning, nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Right there. I mean, don't ask for it.
Good
if you
morning,
don't do it.
everybody. How are you this morning?
Great.
Why don't you try an affirmation with me? I know I'm not being the minister, but I'm just going to have a good time here. I'm alive, alert, awake, and joyous, and enthusiastic about life. I am alive, awake, joyous, and enthusiastic about life.
Aha.
Didn't sound like it, did it?
What is your name?
I'm Michael Gregory. We used to start every service with that.
Okay.
You know. But this is the day. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. We will rejoice. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Hey, this is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. We will rejoice. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Hey, this is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. One more time. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. We will rejoice. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Hey, this is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Thank you very much.
Are you awake yet? Hey! Good morning, everybody. As you can tell, our musical guest is Michael Gregory, and we're grateful for that.
Where's he from?
And our guest speaker is going to be Reverend Sherry Schultz, and you'll be hearing more from her shortly. I just want to make a note that together we make Sundays happen, and we have a whole team of people that help make Sundays happen. So I want to give acknowledgement to them. The board member of the week is Cindy Swink. She's also listed as an usher. Sometimes we wear multiple hats. Our chaplain of the day is Nora. Yes, she is waving there. Okay, our youth ed champion is also Cindy Swink. She's going to be one busy lady. And hospitality hosts are Mary Ellen and Ann. And cleanup angels, that's all of us. So after fellowship time, if you could help sweep away some of the crumbs, that would be helpful and appreciated. And our technology guru is Mark Swink at the back. He's responsible for sound and what you see on the screens and our streaming live on the web. So thank you, Mark. And I'm your helpful and charming platform assistant, Debbie Clay. So I think we have some more music. We have some more music, don't we?
Okay, so this is what is known as the, let's see, where are we? Congregate heart song. Wait a minute, I guess I missed something.
Cry of the Holy Spirit. Yes.
This, there. This is an original song. It's called Kind Loving Spirit. I didn't even look, see? Pretty good. It's very easy. Words are simple. You're going to love it, so here we go. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. I am that Spirit. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. I am that Spirit. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. Thy loving Spirit is flowing through me now. I am that Spirit. I am that Spirit. I am that Spirit.
Do we have anybody with us for the very first time today? Ah, we do. Okay. Did you get your red heart?
I did.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, we want to tell you a little bit about what that all means. When you're new at Unity, we want to welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know that no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lies within each one of us, and we ask you to carry it as a reminder of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you, and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. Okay. And for those visiting for the first time, we want to tell you that we have a variety of speakers. It's always rotating, it's always changing, and so please visit us more than once to get a grasp on what we're all about and where our heart lies and how we like to share with each other. Okay, a few acknowledgments on the schedule here. This coming week, actually tomorrow, Millie Stultz is offering a free workshop. Yeah, there she is, waving her arms, from 6:45 to 8:45 p.m. right here. And there's flyers available out in the fellowship area if you want to take a look and see all the things that are planned. But you're thoroughly welcome, and I'm sure Millie was willing to talk to you after the service if you want to ask her questions. But Heal Thyself workshop free tomorrow evening right here at Unity. And coming up on September 22nd, Family Fun Night, 6 to 9 p.m. And the rumor is we're going to play Bunko. That was fun last month, by the way. So, all right. Well, with more announcements, let's hear from our board member of the week, Sneeze Wink.
Bless you.
We found a Fender medium. Is this you? I figured as much. All right. How did I know? All right. Well, there you go. All right. Just want to remind you we are live streaming our service. We ask that you keep conversation down because it is being picked up, especially during the candle lighting and paper burning. Also, please be sure your cell phones are on, off, or vibrate. We also want to remind everyone that prayer request forms are available in the pocket in the back of the seats. You can put them in the prayer box here or in the offertory bag as it comes around. Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation. This coming Thursday, September 20th at 7 p.m., the mystical didgeridoo. For many, the didgeridoo can be magical, mystical, or enchanting, and the effect can be different every time. Dr. Gale chooses special didgeridoos and plays them in ways that increase these effects. Join us to discover what it means for you. Everyone is welcome. Meditations are held in the Fellowship Hall at Faith Episcopal in Polsbo. As a reminder, we have our craft fair bazaar scheduled for Saturday, November 17th. That's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So if you'd like to participate in that or donate items to be sold there, please sign up on the sheet out in the fellowship area. And the fellowship table has all of our sign-up sheets. If you want to know what's going on and you have email, please be sure to sign up for our e-blast newsletter. We'll keep you informed. The board met last month and decided that the date for this year's annual congregational meeting will be Sunday, October 21st. Members will receive a postcard in the mail prior to the meeting. The board is meeting today to prepare for the annual meeting. Yeah, we have only 2 more meetings before that meeting, so we're busy. We have a few vacant seats on the board, so if you are interested in becoming a board member, please let a board member know. Also, if your address has changed since you submitted your membership form, please let me know so we can make sure you get that postcard. This week on Wednesday, the Photo Club is meeting, and we're preparing for our annual, annual worldwide photo walk, which takes place 1 day a year. It's a worldwide organized photography event put on by Scott Kelby, who's an international photographer dude. And Mark and I have been doing this for several years now in several different locations now. And it's really a lot of fun. Doesn't matter what you shoot pictures with, you'll be with people of all different camera abilities. But they get together, we shoot pictures, they're then submitted through a group, and then they can be submitted to the Scott Kelby organization. There could be the potential for prizes being included in a calendar, and it's just fun to be with other fellow photographers. And this year we're doing it, where are we doing it? Out in Silverdale, somewhere. So if you're interested, please come Wednesday night. We'll tell you all about it. Oh, Mark wants to chime in.
So it is in Silverdale this year, and the purpose behind this, they sell t-shirts and hats and different things that you can get on their website. And all of the proceeds go to benefit an orphanage in Kenya, I believe it is. So that's yearly they do this for the orphanage.
See, it'll be fun and charity. You can't lose doing those kind of things. So, as always, if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions, please see a board member. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I'm going to light the Christ candle now, and this candle represents the divine light within each one of us. Okay, on the screen is our mission statement. Can we say this together? We are a welcoming community supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth. And this is our invocation. Can we say this together? There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. Wonderful. All right, we're going to have a time of greeting each other. We're going to keep it short because there's going to be fellowship time afterwards, coffee and opportunity for conversation, but let's greet each other. We tend to be a huggy church. If you don't want to be hugged, shove out your hand real quick and we'll shake your hand. Otherwise, if you hug gently. Thank you.
Get out of here.
Because it never works.
Hey, Nora, give me a hug. All huggers with.
So nice to see you. I'm fine. It's nice to meet Hey, it's been a while.
Looking forward to you, lady.
Looking forward to you too.
All the time. It just stays on there. Yeah.
Do you think you're on?
Yeah.
Oh, the art is beautiful.
It's great color.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, good flavor.
Well, we come together as Eddie Watkins Jr. and adopted this from my other kids.
A week without a Maryland. All week.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, and honor the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. In the name of love. In the name of love. Thank you very much.
The daily word for today is world peace. Peace in my life is my contribution to peace in the world. Reading or watching the news today may cause me to feel frustrated and angry. It would seem that there's little I can do to affect events in the world. Surely world peace lies well beyond my abilities. Yet I know and affirm that all life is an expression of spiritual consciousness. I'm going to repeat that. Yet I know and affirm that all life is an expression of spiritual consciousness. My every thought plays a vital role in determining not only how my life will unfold, but what I am contributing to the collective consciousness. The peace I choose to express in my life resonates into all creation. That's another good one. The peace I choose to express in my life resonates into all of creation. As today unfolds, I welcome every opportunity to stop and center myself. Through my spiritual willingness, I contribute to peace in the world. And from John 16, verse 33, as I have said this to you, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you face persecution, but take courage. I have conquered the world. Words from Jesus. Today, peace in my life is my contribution to peace in the world. And God blesses us.
All right, once again, this is an original song. I think I did it last time I was here. There's only one God. There is only one God, everywhere present. There is only one life, it lives in you and me. There is only one love that joins us all together. Power of the universe flows through you and me. God is love, God is good, God is here living through me. There is only one God, everywhere present. There is only one life, it lives in you and me. There is only one love that joins us all together. Power of the universe flows through you and me. God is love, God is good, God is here living through me. There is only one God, everywhere present. There is only one life that lives in you and me. There is only one love that joins us all together. The power of the universe flows through you and me. God is love, God is good, God is here living through me. God is love, God is good, God is here living through me. There is only one God.
And now I will manifest the Native American. I know I've been watching too much America's Got Talent.
A small version of an interview.
It's a short.
Thank you, Michael. And now our guest speaker, Reverend Sherry Schultz.
Good morning, friends. Good morning. How lovely to see you. It's been a long time since I've been here, so.
Too long.
Well, thank you for saying that. So, it's a little hard. Press that to my own. Well, let me ask you a question. Are you a head person or are you a heart person? Ooh. Let me ask a little survey. When you have to make a decision, when you are in communication with another person, do you tend to lead with your head, thinking about it, or do you tend to lead with your heart? How many people think they're head people? Okay, yeah. And how many people think you're primarily heart people? Yeah, so, yeah. And how many people know you integrate both? Okay. Have a good day. I don't need to be here. So if the truth be told, of course, we all operate from both the heart and the mind, from thinking and from feeling. There we go. From affect and cognition, from knowledge and understanding. So in 1995, anybody heard of the book? I mean, it's been around a while. Daniel Goleman wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence. Anybody hear of that one? Yeah, it's been around the block. Daniel Goleman suggested that all of us train ourselves to function from both our thinking and feeling cells. EI, this is what it's called now, EI is like a neck that bridges the mind and the heart and allows us to use all of our capacities to make decisions and to communicate with one another. In the old days, you probably can relate to this, I think it's so sad, but it's true, that in the old days we thought that emotionally led people were feminine, right? And we thought that people who thought that used their head to make decisions were more masculine, right? It's so beautiful to me to see this integration of those characteristics that we thought were male and the characteristics that we thought were feminine. And now we're saying this is what a whole person looks like. A whole person uses both, right? Are you seeing that in young people today? It's like this transgender world is just so fascinating to me. Yesterday I was at an estate sale. It's one of those character flaws I have. Do you ever go to estate sales? Oh my goodness. This one was astounding. It was in a neighborhood that I didn't think was especially, what would I say? Fancy. It wasn't, but I was still drawn to go, because that's one of the things I do. It's one of those default behaviors. And I don't know if that's an emotional behavior or an intellectual behavior. But anyway, I went to this estate sale and there were Japanese things, obis and kimono and silk scarves. And lots of pottery. Oh my goodness, I think a lot of you would have enjoyed this. And I walked out with a $3 scarf, and that is all, which is really good, thank you God. But what happened while I was there is there was this young person, a beautiful, beautiful brown, light brown skin, and just absolutely beautiful. And this person was asking about a kimono, and it was a beautiful color. It was like linen or something. And the woman who was the estate salesperson said, "Oh, try it on. This was a great color for you." And it was, with this her skin. And, it was a transgender person. So I don't know about you, but I get, I try to do the right thing and use the right words and the right pronouns. And what I'm learning is that sometimes transgender people wear name tags and they say, use this pronoun. I am, she, her, yeah. So that's what this person was. This was a transgender person. And it's sometimes a little bit awkward. My brain is working at, be kind, be polite. And of course, it was this charming individual. And I feel like I'm learning from young people today that the old ways don't always work anymore. You know, the old ways of thinking and saying, well, that guy's effeminate or she's butchy. It's like, these are people. Right? These are our brothers and our sisters, and they have different talents. And some of the talents are about, you know, the integration of talents are about our heart and mind. So today, life in balance is what we're talking about. And this person had an interesting, beautiful balance. The National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization serves hospices all over the United States. And you all know that I work for hospice, and I've been in hospice for a lot of years. Sometimes they offer a lot. They offer classes, education, lobbying efforts for hospices and healthcare, and they help us with regulations, regulatory compliance, forever and ever and ever. You all know Medicare keeps changing, right? God bless Medicare. Medicare and Medicaid, and we're constantly, you know, things, you try to stay on top of it. And NHPCO, the National Hospice Organization, helps us in hospice stay on top of what we have to do to stay in business and do a good job. So recently NHPCO offered a 4-week class to hospice managers, and I'm one of those, on emotional intelligence. And I thought, oh, I just know all that stuff, you know, and I thought, no, you don't. So it was a webinar, so an opportunity to learn something new at my leisure, you know, in my computer in my office. So let me see, what do they have to say about emotional intelligence? I really like continuing education. It's one of the other things, you know, estate sales, continuing education. So now you know. So I signed up, and it was so rich that I thought that I would share a little bit about this with you. Are you a game for this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So there's 4 aspects, according to this class, 4 aspects of emotional intelligence that I'm going to tell you about today. First is self-awareness, right? So paying attention to what goes on for me internally. What sets me off? Right? Right? Known as triggers. I really love that word. They use it in therapy. What are my triggers? In my own case, I learned that I don't think clearly when it comes to bully behavior. When I'm around a bully, my head spins. It's one of the things that makes me mad. So, and arrogance. I don't like my own arrogance. Anybody feel arrogant once in a while? You don't have to raise your hand. So anyway, arrogance and bully behavior. I react emotionally. And a lot of us do, I'm sure. The goal is not to stop being emotional, but just to become aware of myself and to notice before I blow off steam in an inappropriate way, right? So I'm going to ask you to turn to somebody close to you and tell another person what is one of your triggers, and then have the person tell you. Go ahead. Go for it. What are one of your triggers? You can join them.
Bullying is a good one because it does make me feel
You can talk to Cindy. No, she's not talking. She's waiting for somebody to come and talk to her. What's my trigger? Okay, friends, as you're able, bring your attention back. Excuse me. I know, that's the hardest part, right? It's the herding of the cats when to bring us all back together. So knowing what your triggers are. Did anybody realize anything about yourself? Like, Yeah, I wasn't aware of that trigger. Or you learned something about one of your brothers or sisters, right, about their triggers. So generally there are 4 primary feelings. I like this. We've all heard of mad and sad and glad, and the 4th one is afraid. I never heard that before until this class. I mean, I know it. We all know about afraid, but not one of the 4 primary feelings. So when somebody acts like a bully about a project I'm working on, I really get triggered. I feel angry, and I hear the train whistle like in the old cartoons, woo, and the steam comes out of my ears, and I want to say something right then, and that's the wrong time, right? It's the wrong time to say it. So I feel triggered. So you just thought about a trigger in your own life when you behave from autopilot, when you think you're going to say something right now and have this reactive mind. How do you respond to injustice? How do you respond to racism? How do you respond to sexism? How do you respond to families who are being separated, children from their parents? And what is your awareness of yourself and your triggers? Yeah. So triggers, that's a huge, huge thing for us to know about ourselves. Because otherwise we'd be totally led by emotion and reaction. And that's not a strong place for us to be. Now, writing a letter to your senator is a strong place to be, right? I mean, you have a response to something, this is not a political gathering, but if you have a response to something that you see in the world and it's appropriate, you can write to your senator or congressperson. So another aspect to emotional intelligence is self-regulation. Self-awareness allows us to know our triggers. We just talked about some of those. And just knowing what sets us off is our first step. Then the second step is that we learn to manage ourselves. We choose being conscious over that reactive mind, reacting. Some creatures in the kingdom of heaven respond to a threat or a fear by spraying their enemy. Don't do that. By spraying their enemy. So take a skunk or a scorpion. That's what they do when they're afraid, right? Some creatures in the kingdom of heaven, what else do they do? I had another idea here. Oh, well, they might sting.
Yeah.
Like a wasp.
Just did.
You just did?
Just got one of those last week.
Somebody stung you?
Yes, and a little teeny thing.
Oh, a
that
critter.
lasted for several days.
Oh dear, yeah. So creatures in the kingdom of heaven do that, and people do that too. Can sting or bite.
That lasts a lot longer.
And yeah, that does last a long time. Or jellyfish. You ever step on a jellyfish? Not a good thing. And then some humans use their brain to respond, or not. The amygdala. Anybody know where your amygdala is?
Yep.
Okay, tell us where it is. Anybody, can you tell us?
It's in the center.
In the center of your brain, right? And can you tell us what the purpose of the amygdala is?
Doesn't it control impulses?
It does. You're absolutely right. So that's the place where the train whistle is blowing, when you get set off. So the amygdala is, some people use the phrase in emotional intelligence, hijacking the amygdala. In other words, our reactive mind is in control, and the amygdala is what drives that reactive mind. So the amygdala is an emotional center in the brain that alerts us to perceived danger, perceived fear. And we're physiologically set up to react by fighting. Now you know this one. Yep, I heard it. Fighting, flight. Yeah. Fight, flight. Now here's 2 others I didn't know. Freeze. Do you know that one? Like when somebody says something and you just think, I cannot believe you said that. You might think that of a politician sometimes. Wow, you really said that. And here's the 4th one. Some other reaction that the amygdala can stimulate you to do. Flocking. Flocking. So fight, flight, freeze, flock. So to flock means, you herd people together and you all start wagging your fingers. Did you hear what she said? It's also known as parking lot conversations. You ever have that, or you notice that, where people, like you're all together in a room and there's a meeting at your workplace and you go out. This happened to me the other day. I'm driving off. Somebody in my department left 45 minutes earlier, and I drive to go, and there they are, wagging fingers. So the amygdala is the emotional center, perceived danger. This natural threat response is called hijacking the amygdala, which involves an automatic survival response when we feel threatened. So how do we move from automatic to responsive behavior? Here are 3 ideas from the EI people. 1, practice the pause. Gosh, don't we know that? But do we always do that? No, we do not. I don't. Do you? Does anybody pause all the time? No. So practicing the pause. Number 2, breathing deep. Simple, right? But it does change us if we take a little bit of time and breathe deeply. And then thirdly, to meditate. Sit down for 5 minutes. Somebody in my workplace the other day, we were talking about how we're trying to change ourselves, how we're trying to improve ourselves. And she said, 7 minutes a day. She said, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I do set aside the timer 7 minutes in the morning. And I'm like, good for you. I mean, that's the beginning of something, isn't it? So how do you manage emotional hijacking? Anybody want to share with the group? Come on, go ahead. You all do it. None of us want to be hijacked by the amygdala. So what happens when you can feel it coming on? You can feel it in your belly. You can hear the words in your head, and the steam is starting to form in the amygdala. And in just a minute it's going to come out of your ears if you don't do something. What do? Anybody have a...
I ask myself if I'm gonna, is it that important that I respond to this?
Good.
Do I need to share my opinion, or can I just
Is it that
have the
important?
opinion, but
Right. Good. You were going to say something too. I saw somebody's hand up. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I stop and breathe, and
Yeah.
then usually the thought that comes when I may have done that, or have done it, or how I relate to there before the grace of God I've been or done.
Amen. Yeah. So you pause and think, how have I been like that? How is that state? How have I experienced that kind of a state? What did I do in that situation?
Yeah, that ultimately comes. But usually that drops by taking that breath.
Yeah.
It's like also, it's like that breath drops you into, to me, the presence.
Amen.
Where the presence lives.
Yeah.
And where out of
Yeah.
that comes that place of saying, yeah, I've been there too.
Amen. Yeah. So good. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't always do this,
Mhm.
but sometimes if someone does or says something really mean,
Yeah.
I'll stop and think, they must be really insecure or really unhappy to
Yeah.
do that.
Yes.
And that kind of shifts it for
Yeah,
me.
such spiritually evolved people. Really, to think, did everybody hear what she said? Sometimes she asks or thinks to herself, that person who said something really mean must be in a negative space. They must be feeling bad. Something's going on to cause them to behave like that. It's generous.
It's kind of akin to that. It's,
Yeah.
I think, don't take it personally. They're upset about, if they honk at you meanly, it's maybe don't take it personally. It's not really it's their reaction.
Right,
Don't react to
right.
their, whatever's
Right.
going on with them.
Yes, thank you. She said, don't take it, realize it's not about you. And it could be they're cutting you off in traffic and it's about something that's going on with them. Same deal, right? Yeah, I remember one time we made I can't remember why, but I made these little signs for all the people I worked with, and that said, it's not about me. And so when somebody goes off and somebody is unkind, or somebody says something that's not skillful, or generous toward you, you just hold up that little sign, not about me. It's nice to remind ourselves that people, hello, when people are unkind, it's not because that's their true nature, is it? It's because something's going on. Anybody else have a great idea about what you do when people are unkind or unskillful?
Deep breathing first, and
Yeah.
then if somebody is doing something either verbally or by their behavior, in the case they're upset, seems to be coming in my direction.
Mhm.
Remind myself, something might be going on in their personal life that I have no idea of.
Beautiful.
And to kind of give them that,
Right.
maybe it's something in their personal life, and just try to take a moment to
Very good.
assess.
Yeah, thank you. Take a moment to, sometimes I make up a story. Oh, there's a baby in the back seat that's about to be born.
That's right.
And that's why they're driving 200 miles an hour. Let me get out of their way. But, just as you're saying, yeah, thank you very much.
Or 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, or 5 miles an hour, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Sometimes when my feelings are really hurt, I'm really upset, I don't know how to respond. And I
Right.
usually am able to tell that person, let me think about this.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know how to
Mhm.
respond, and then I'll let you know when I do. We
Beautiful.
can talk about it again.
Thank you. Did everybody hear that? Yeah, that's beautiful. Just the pause, practice the pause. It just makes us more sane when we breathe and wait, doesn't it? I have a 20-year-old who sometimes, she's 20. And so I'm learning to say to her, honey, let me think about that. She wants me to react immediately, and I'm really learning, nope, chill. It really helps a lot. It helps me anyway. So let's see, in our quest to live with integrity, in peace with ourselves and others, we have all made a decision. I think we all make decisions daily about how we want to behave, how we want to be seen, how we want to react, how we want other people to see us, and how we want them to feel in our presence. We're not about, trying to make people feel bad when they make mistakes. Like, gotcha, no, I don't think we're about that. So we notice what we react to, and we notice how the word amygdala, I just love the word. Our amygdala gets hijacked. So the next important behavior of an emotionally intelligent person is empathy. And I've already heard some of that, like what is going on for the other person. That's what empathy is about. We learn to pay attention. I'm sure that in the last few years, as we've gotten acquainted, we have shared conversations and paid attention to each other. The nice thing is that we can look in each other's eyes, we can tell each other a story. I've mentioned my daughter, I just did again. I've mentioned my partner, maybe I've mentioned that I really love movies and estate sales and a few other things. And there's an art movie house in Tacoma. And I'm a real big fan of the Grand Cinema. I'm a member of the Grand Cinema. So we attend the annual Academy Awards parties every year in Tacoma, that is, not Los Angeles. And most Fridays we see a movie. It's like a celebration that it's the end of the week. We go out to eat and we see a movie. And usually it's at the Grand Cinema. So a few months ago I saw a film that is worth mentioning if you haven't seen it or if you have. Has anybody seen Won't You Be My Neighbor? Oh, wow. When you have the opportunity to see this movie, please see this movie, because I think it will contribute to peace in the world for each one of us that sees this film. So it's all about one of the most empathic humans on the planet, I think. One of the kindest, most skillful people on the planet. That's Fred Rogers, known as Mr. Rogers. We saw clips of him as a young man when he decided to quit attending college in order to go into television. In the 50s, like television was just coming out. And so he thought it was like the way to tomorrow was to get into television. And he told his parents, I'm quitting school and I'm going to go into television. He started with puppets and a small train that went around his little studio set, you know, and a little village and a king and a queen, and all in his voices. Everything was in his voice. And he, in a short period of time, his characters, because he believed that children needed a place to speak up about things they were really thinking about, not just, what kind of popcorn do you like best? No. Mr. Rogers was talking about some serious stuff, like assassination. The puppets on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood talked about, what's assassination? Because that, you know, John Kennedy died during that time when he was first getting started. They talked about divorce. They talked about fear. And these were film clips of Mr. Rogers' puppets talking about these deep concepts that aren't even easy for us to talk about. Tiny children would walk up to him in the studio. I remember this one little girl who walked up to him and she said, he's up on the stage and she's standing down below and she says, you know what, Mr. Rogers? And she's like going like this, you know, like a little kid. And he looked down and he said, what? And she said, I like you. And musicians sang with him, they sang to him. People were so touched by his work and really his ministry, because, you know, he did attend seminary. He was a very, very holy man. One of the most remarkable clips we saw in this documentary was a Senator Pastore. I don't know if you remember him, but in 1969, he was the chair of a Senate Commerce Committee. And the topic of the meeting, you know the story? Oh, wow. I wish I could just paste the story on my wall. The topic for the meeting was funding for PBS, for public broadcasting. And Mr. Rogers, of course, was a proponent of public broadcasting. There was funding involved, and he wanted to fund programming for children that, you know, spoke to their intellect and their curiosity and their interest and their creativity. So he was there in the room, and the senator was kind of abrasive, you know, kind of not impressed with anybody, kind of crabby. And he was almost demeaning. But Mr. Rogers was this patient, generous, kind person. And he just sat there patiently and had his paper that he'd written, and he was kind of tuned in, you know, taking the pause. After several questions, Mr. Rogers explained the rationale for his television program and how responsive children are when they receive permission to express their deepest feelings, even the scary ones. And at the conclusion, the senator said, you know, Mr. Rogers, I've got chills. And he was this cranky, crabby politician. And then after a few minutes, he said, sir, I think you just talked yourself into $20 million. And people in the theater where we were sitting in the Grand Cinema, there was a group of young teenagers in front of us, maybe 20-somethings, and there were these young guys talk about the evolving human race, and they're wiping their eyes because they're crying, because this is one of the most compassionate people that has walked the planet. I mean, he's a Jesus person. He's a Jesus person. So Mr. Rogers was an ordained minister, and he taught and he lived with empathy. That is the third concept in emotional intelligence, is being able to place yourself or open your heart to the issues of another person. What is it like? What is it like to be, I won't say, Donald Trump? What is it, seriously, what is it like to be Donald Trump? So think for a moment about the places in your life, the people in your life who set you off, the people with whom you experience conflict, the amygdala getting hijacked. And you, because you are an evolving spiritual being, you make a decision to be curious, to make peace with yourself, to find peace in your relationships with other people, the ones you care about and the ones you don't even know, the one in the next car, the one who's crabby or judgmental, and you practice empathy and you listen to their story. And just that, just listening, can transform your connection with other people. Just listening, whether it's your neighbor or your coworker. The final aspect of emotional intelligence is that we all want to develop effective relationships, don't we? I mean, how many people wake up in the morning and think, I'm going to start a fight today? Occasionally. There are those days. I think John Denver wrote a song that says, some days are diamonds, some days are stones. I love that song. So relationships are about clear communication, honoring the self, honoring another person, telling the truth about what's going on. And you know this, and I do too, and we all have to work so hard. Somebody asked me the other day, it's like, well, why are partnerships so hard? It's just because we're people, you know, because we're complicated. In the process of completing this course and thinking about my own emotional intelligence and my commitment to being a healthy person, I made a decision that I want to tell you about. It's something that I've been contemplating for a few months. So I work full-time as a hospice manager. I really like my job. I usually work later. I come in a little bit late, and then I see the volunteers, because I work in the volunteer department, and, you know, touch base with them, make sure everything is tucked in before I leave for the day. So I leave later than other people in my department. So by the time I get home, I get up really early in the morning, I exercise, I have my day of work, I stay late, and by the time I get home, it's time to eat, and then by the time you clean, you know what it's like, the drill, right? Then it's time to clean up, and then you look at your watch and you go, oh, it's midnight, wow. How did that happen? You know, get off the computer, whatever it is, we're busy people, right? It's a busy life. And on Saturdays, if I'm planning to speak in a church on Sunday, Saturday I'm preparing, and so I exercise in the morning maybe, and then the day is devoted to preparation. And then Sunday, I'm driving to the location and spending time with great people. And then I get home and I'm kind of tired, and, you know, like you. So my partner said to me, would you ever consider not speaking anymore? And I said, I don't know that I would ever consider not speaking ever, but I had kind of some places that I went to every month or every other month, and I just decided I don't get to have a weekend off. I don't get to have any time off if I'm doing this. So I thought, I think it's time to let go of it. And it was hard to make that decision. I went and spoke with the folks in Paulsbo now and told them about this, and they were sad, but they were glad. You know, it's just like, yeah, you need some days off, girl. And I do. How many people here need a day off? Right on, you know. We do need days off. We need days when we're not huffing and puffing and working hard and, you know, cleaning and moving and fixing. So that's my big decision. My big decision is to be emotionally intelligent. And part of that is to demonstrate empathy toward myself. Because aren't we sometimes the last one we think about? It's like, okay, what do you need, little girl? What does the little person inside me need? The little girl who goes like this, I like you, Mr. Rogers. Well, what does she need? She needs some rest time. Last weekend we went away and went to a museum up in, what is it, Goldendale? Has anybody ever been to the Mary Hill Museum? Go there if you haven't ever. Isn't it great? It's a bizarre place with Rodin sculptures in the middle of nothing in Washington State. It's just a few miles away. It's worth it.
Marysville?
No, Goldendale. Oh, Mary Hill Museum. It's in the, look it up. It's a very unusual place. It's a great, great little trip. I felt like I'd been gone for 6 months. You know, it was just such a treat to get away, to look at the river, to have a little wine tasting. And it was wonderful. So I'm going to flash forward to today and tell you about something, a prayer that I want to share with you. It's years ago I had a surgery, and I told a couple people earlier, I have a friend who's a yoga teacher, and after the surgery, the doctor told me what medication to take and how long to be off work, you know, and signed the FMLA paperwork. And I'm thinking, there's more to it than this. I mean, there's more to healing than take the meds, right? So I asked my friend Judith, the yoga teacher, would you come over and tell me what you know that the doctor doesn't know to help me heal? And she gave me this Gayatri mantra.
Oh,
The Gayatri mantra, do you know it?
absolutely.
Excellent. So the Gayatri mantra, according to my friend, is one of the oldest chants that is about healing. It's a chant for healing that is comes from it's Sanskrit. So what I would like to do is teach it to you, and it's not very difficult. You've got the words in front of you. We don't have the music, but we'll do it. We'll do our best, okay? This is a prayer about balance, about being in balance and healing. So I'll do my best with you. The first line is Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. So would you say that with me? Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. The second line is Tatsavitur Varenyam. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Deyo yo na prachodayat. Deyo yo na prachodayat. So now let's just say it together. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Diyo yo na prachodayat. Okay, now we're going to introduce the notes. And they go like this. We'll do one line at a time. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. Try that. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. The second line. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Diyo yo na prachodayat. Diyo yo na prachodayat. So let's try it. Okay? We'll do our best. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Diyo yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. Tatsavitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Dhimahi. Diyo yo na prachodayat. One more time. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. Tatsavitur So I invite you to close your eyes. So many words and sounds. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Some of these English words describe the Gayatri Mantra. O thou existence absolute, creator of three dimensions, we contemplate upon thy divine light. Stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us true knowledge. Stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us true knowledge. Maybe we can say those words together. Stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us true knowledge. O Divine Mother, our hearts are filled with darkness. Please make this darkness distant from us and promote illumination within us. Please make this darkness distant from us and promote illumination within us. And so in our minds we review today's experience, the opportunity to identify our triggers, the opportunity to stop and breathe and meditate. The wisdom to demonstrate kindness and compassion for others. The desire to communicate clearly with people, all people, those we love and those we don't know yet. Om Bhurvubhuva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Whatever language we use, whatever language we hear or speak, we are all connected. We all strive to do our best to be the being we are created to be. To be generous, to know the truth about ourselves. To continue to explore divine nature. So take a moment now to think about those who need your prayers today, those you're thinking about. And if there's anyone whose name you'd like to include in this time of prayer, I invite you to speak their name aloud. Rosie, John, John. John, Susan, Brad, and perhaps there's a place you're thinking about. Maybe you're thinking about the people who are affected by the hurricane. Maybe you're thinking about another country. But if you'd like to say the name of that location right now, feel free to do that in this circle of prayer. Puerto Rico. Bremerton. We send our prayers forward to reach beyond these walls, beyond those of us who are gathered here, to the people in this town and this county and this state and this country. I reach out to all sisters and all brothers, all she's and he's and theirs, all people. And we thank you, God, for calling us into this consciousness of transformation and generosity. Om. Let's Om together. Thank you for sharing your time with me over the last few years. Thank you for sharing your kindness, your compassion, your wisdom, your empathy, your faith. I wish for each of us a rich and satisfying future, and I look forward to our next meeting time, sometime. And as Mr. Rogers said many times to many people, I like you exactly the way you are. Amen.
That was wonderful. Thank you. There's a lot of talk about world peace. So I'm going to be giving a talk here next month, I believe. I don't remember the date, but anyway, I want you to think about this in the meantime. Is world peace possible? Is world peace probable? Or is it already here? There's a story in the Bible about Jesus and the storm. This is what the song is about. Sail a tiny ship into the raging storm. They fear they never find a place both safe and warm. But the storm woke a man, only guided by God's will. He rebuked the storm just by saying, peace be still, peace be still. Peace be still. The sailors were afraid they'd perish in the sea. It seemed every way they're just like you and me. When the storms of life arrive, we can choose to know God's will. We can calm the wind and cold by saying, peace be still, peace be still. Peace be still. Though the winds of change may come and you're shaken to the core, call upon the peace of God just by knocking on the door. It will open unto you, God's treasures will abound. Your faith will be restored just by saying, peace be still, Peace be still. 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 Peace be still.
Thank you. All right, we're going to be having a time of offertory, and so I invite you to take your gift in your hand. As you're preparing your tithes and love offering today, think about how blessed you are, and as you're writing your check or giving your gift, send your blessings out to this congregation and to the world. Okay, the ushers will begin circulating, and if you could lead us, Michael, in the lyrics on the screen. I am so blessed.
I hope so.
If you don't know that, we've got.
I am so grateful. I am
Okay, Cindy, could you come forward, and Nora, and we're going to bless as a congregation this love offering. It's on the screen. So can we say this together as a congregation? I give lovingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude. Thank you, Father, Mother God. Okay, thank you. Anybody have some good news to share with the congregation? Yes, Millie.
Good news is that I'm doing the class tomorrow night here, and there's going to be quite a number of new people that haven't ever been here. And so it'll be a welcoming for first time here, so I hope, and several of you have already said you're going to be here, so I just want to make sure as many as possible are here to enjoy for yourself the class and for welcoming new people that'll be here. And the other great news, I for the first time now have my own space at the Healing Center, and it have a large enough space to teach classes and for movement and such, and for private sessions, another room. And so I'm very excited about that. I'll be doing my first all-day class there on the 29th, and the Healing Center is over in East Bremerton, where Lowe's is and the roller rink. This Fusion is that road, and it's just a block past where they are as the Healing Center. And so I'll look forward to seeing you there. I'll be doing a lot of different events there.
Thank you, Millie. And as a reminder, Nora is our chaplain of the day. If you would like supportive prayer and have that opportunity for sharing, she will be available following the service.
I have some good news also.
Oh, great.
My back is doing well enough. I started back to work this week. Yay. We stay retired, but my back is doing better to where I'm able to work again.
Excellent.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yep.
You're waving your hand?
Yeah, and as most of you know, Cindy's been kind of waiting for the final words from the Navy for her new job. She finally got all of that, so tomorrow morning she's back to work full-time.
Yay! My wife is hanging out already. Fuller time.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any other good news to share?
I got a part in the play at Bremerton Community Theater coming up after a 30-year hiatus.
Wonderful. What's the name of the play?
Appointment with Death. It's an Agatha Christie.
Oh, it's an Agatha Christie play. Oh, those are fun. Those are fun. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I've done community theater locally and at Bremerton Community Theater. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to make friends too. So wonderful.
One other, Aaron. I had the pleasure of meeting yesterday. It was good news, and Aaron has previously played at the other church that we had at Unity and stuff, has brought his music and gifts to there, and I'm really glad to have invited him to come today, so, and tomorrow he's coming, so.
Welcome, Aaron.
Welcome, Aaron. All right, it's time to stand up and grab a hand. We'll have our closing peace song and our closing prayer.
Grab a hand. Well, I don't want to do it. The other way then. How about we do it this way?
That's perfect.
Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator.
star.